dystopian often comes to mind when describing this game. Maybe more accurate would be dystopian document thriller. You wouldn't think that there would be much in the way of a thrilling in this game, which is where you could be wrong. There are up to 20 endings you can find in this game. As you progress, you find out an underlying plot and your choices determine the ending. You start out drafted, or being told that you have a new job for the glory of Arstotzka. You take up the offer. It's not like you have much choice in the matter. Get yourself ready for a seemingly endless stream of potential smugglers, suicide bombers, and of course people wanting to bribe you, as long as you pay no attention to the desolation around you. Glory to Arstotzka. What makes Papers, Please more than a simple game is the story, as it is more than just spotting a mismatched date or missing a specific access pass. The way the game works without divulging too much into gameplay is you check people's papers as they try to enter the country. As the day progresses, the challenges get harder and you start to notice a subtle plot under the monotony of daily work. You start with a new home, new life, and a new booth at the start of each run. Check the names and the photos to make sure they match. Smack the stamp down, letting them know they are approved or not. Careful, as the power may rush to your head. Without pushing too much into spoiler territory, the story does more than offer simply working on that paperwork. You have moral decisions constantly as you decide to let a husband go through who has the proper paperwork and keep the wife out who has paperwork that doesn't quite match. You can even do some good by turning a specific pimp away from hurting one of his girls who claims he tricked her over the border. Sometimes the right answer seems obvious. Help that wife across the border, or don't let that pimp through. That is where the real beauty of the game shines, as the right answer may seem obvious, but will in turn come back to bite you in the butt. Plus, with the addition of local and foreign threats, bribery, corruption, and the potential to use your stamps to help a worthwhile cause, pushes that intrigue to the next level. Gameplay is pretty specific. You arrive each day to your humble workspace. You open the gates and start shuffling through the massive line waiting to get into Arstotzka. At first, it does start out simple. You only need to match their face with their picture on file. Though, as the day progresses, the simple factor goes out the window, as you'll find yourself scanning people for weapons, scanning documents for imperfections, and becoming a general naysayer. What feels like a grandiose spot the difference game turns into a complex moral ambiguity story. One minor issue, but also works in favor of the game, is that there is very limited space in your work environment. So you will find yourself shuffling papers trying to find documents with the correct information, but then have to move another document back while finding another piece of information. This wouldn't be an issue if you had all the time to shuffle around and then let the person in. You don't have time though. You have a full day's worth of work that slowly ticks down while you sweat over which decision to make. Don't worry, it is still a video game, so if you lose, you can start again, which means the more experience you get each time, you will move further and further into the game. You find yourself picking out minute details like the wrong name, wrong stamp, and scanning for weapons till you're a pro. Thankfully, the game provides a handy-dandy little stamp book to let you know what each stamp for each area is before you start to commit it to memory. The beauty of the simplicity of the game is that it draws you in with the limited space and the even more limited coloring, but does a good job of providing that air of oppression with the thud of the approved or denied stamp. The people you see are lumpy, pixelated, sad, and desperate. You can almost see the pleading in their eyes as they hand over the papers for you to check. The pixelation allows for a good way to separate you from the misery you see each day. You'll see people clothed richly, and others just trying to survive. The music in the game is a good reminder of a Eastern European nation with heavy tones sounding very militaristic. Each day is bleak, and as we said, the colors draw on that as each person is a dull gray, and the only real color you see is on the actual papers you are inspecting. When each day ends, you will receive a tally of the work done and the family you have still surviving. pushing for a bleak outlook as you have to decide whether to feed your family member, keep the heat on, or give one medicine. If you allow a family member to die, the game does end, and you have to start again. You are then pushed back into the oppressive 16-bit visuals with the Eastern-sounding soundtrack as you start to stamp again. This game pushes a simple design. What looks like an easy task turns into a complex issue and makes it challenging as your days progress. On the surface, it is a simple dull stamp type game. It's what is underneath that really makes this game shine, with moral decisions and enough personality to shine through that bleakness. Though there are some issues with design, the fun level isn't there, but it really isn't about fun. It's about living in a world where you're trapped in this dehumanizing role, which can affect you on the outside of the game. With multiple endings, you can come back to play again and again. For this, I give the game an 8 out of 10. While it isn't a perfect game, it does a great job of helping you turn away a pleading face under the guise of following orders. I hope you enjoyed my Paper Please review. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a like and comment on what you liked about this video, or if you have any other games you'd like me to check out. If you would like to help support the channel, make sure you do click subscribe. This is The Still Grizzly, wishing you luck with all your future games.